If Democrats intend to win the battle, intend to reach the working class, intend to really put the Republican bill on ice or to throw it into a grave, you cannot stay in Washington and make proclamations, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You can't. What you have to do is go out there in the field and physically show Americans exactly what's going to happen if this big, beautiful bill passes. Here is the deal. I want you to listen to this piece that was on MSNBC. I did a few cuts on it so that you can see what's going to happen to solar power stations, etc., if this bill goes through. Check this out, then we'll take it on the other side.
As it currently stands, the bill would eviscerate the Biden administration's investments in clean energy, including solar power. How exactly could the Republican spending and tax plan put facilities like the one you're standing at risk?
Yeah. So first, just to give you a sense of where I am and the scale of it to sort of arrive at what's at stake. So this facility is in two parts. The first part went online in December. When the second part goes online in about a month or so, there will be 1.3 million of these solar panels, between 1.2 and 1.3 million of these solar panels. These rows and rows you see behind me are just a small fraction of the total size of this facility. It will have the capacity to power 7% of Los Angeles. So 7% of the largest power utility in the country will be powered just by this facility. The scale of this, and oh, by the way, I also want to say most of the materials here, not the panels themselves, but the steel, the trackers that are used to turn the panels towards the sun, the batteries, which are actually Tesla batteries that store the power to then feed it to LA when the sun goes down, that's all American made. It's American steel, American companies. Now, facilities like this have become possible, much more possible in the last 2 years than they were before because of the incentive structures, the tax incentives in Biden's climate bill, the Inflation Reduction Act, which made it much more profitable and much more predictable for both developers and investors to get projects, utility scale projects of this size and of this capacity up and running. Now, that is industry-wide, by the way. Solar has just exploded in the last just 2 years. By some estimates, it's supposed to triple by 2028. That is all predicated on the conditions, the incentive conditions created by the IRA. Now, what the bill does, what the spending bill does, as passed in the House, is that it basically stops those incentive structures, and it does so very quickly. It rolls them back almost immediately. There's very little phase-out time. And so what the business people who are involved in creating, making these things happen say is that makes it basically impossible to plan future projects and ongoing projects. The CEO of Arevon, the company that built this facility, told me that he actually has 3 ongoing projects in earlier stages of development in Georgia, in Michigan, and Indiana. I believe that he's had to completely put on pause. And it's not just because of the spending bill. It's also because of uncertainty around tariffs. Again, steel, for example, even if you're using U.S. steel, tariffs on imported steel still cause prices to rise. It's basically become impossible to plan and to make sure that these investments actually come to fruition. That is why this is a hang-up among some Republicans, many Republicans in the Senate. So I talked to the CEO of this company. I asked him, what is this going to cost, right? Like what is actually at stake? What is this going to cost the country and the American people? Here's what he had to say.
It's going to cost billions and hundreds of billions of dollars of investment and hundreds of thousands of jobs, and puts us at risk of creating the energy that we need to meet that demand created by AI. That's a factual message. Whether or not the politicians in DC recognize that that's the case or not, we'll have to see.
The vast majority of that solar boom, by the way, Chris, has happened in Republican strongholds, in red states, in the South, in the West, in the Midwest, even where I am now. This is California, obviously a blue state, but this is a Republican-controlled House district. That is why this is a huge hang-up with a number of Republicans, not just in the Senate, but also in the House. As the people you were talking to just now have explained, it's totally not clear how much senators who don't want these incentives to go away are going to be able to get in these negotiations. But that is, it's one of the biggest sticking points, and it's one of the most important things that we're going to have to be paying attention to moving forward, Chris.
Now, here's the deal. There is so much that's wrong with the big, beautiful bill as called by Donald Trump that gives Democrats ample space, ample opportunities to get directly into the heads of MAGA and those senators and Congress people that are going to be responsible for passing this thing. Let me first go with the piece that you just saw there. This particular solar field, this solar plant is in a red district. It is going to affect a lot of people in a red district. It seems like when they passed the IRA, they really passed it they really made sure that a lot of that money was going to red states, likely to make it that much more difficult to cancel. But these Republicans don't give a damn about their own people. They don't care that they're going to starve them, kill them, etc. So you have to show them. This reporter went out there to show what a particular section of the big, beautiful bill is going to do to this particular solar plant or to solar plants like this. He points out there are solar plants that are planned in Georgia and in Indiana, places where these are red areas. And that bill is going to take monies and employment out of the pockets of these folks. It's going to raise the prices on quite a bit on these folks. We should have a Democrat or Democrats, plural, from those areas go on to the site where these solar farms were intended to be built and come with a big banners, media, everything, and say, the panels that were going to be placed here with supplies from the steel, from American steel, supplies from American panels, supplies from American batteries. What was going to be built here will not be built, and all these jobs will be lost, and all the restaurants that would have fed these people, that would have built these plants, that would have operated these plants, will not be. They need to go to Indiana. They need to go to Georgia. They need to come here to the Mojave Desert in California and let folks understand that. Show them exactly what the bill cuts, not just put it in the ethos. Show them physically what it cuts. Additionally, we know that the big bad bill, one of the other things that it does is it cuts Medicaid. They need to go to every rural hospital on the margins. And you know what? It's not hard to find rural hospitals on the margins because most of them are. Go out in front of the hospitals with banners. Go out of the hospitals with their ledgers to show how much money they normally get from Medicaid. Go out there and have it printed on banners and show the people in that rural area what their representative is about to cut for them. It's lazy to stay in Washington. You have all these consultants out there in Washington. They should be telling their people, create banners, create an illusion, not an illusion, a reality. Have the media out there do things that make you remember the Tea Party knew how to do all of that lying. Democrats and progressives can do that simply by telling the truth and go to those locations where things are going to be harmed. Go to the hospitals, go to a nursing home where 50% of the people are on Medicaid, that Medicaid is paying for those cares. Go out there with banners. How many people are you going to lose at this nursing home that puts your mother, your grandmother, your auntie in danger? You have to be proactive and you have to have media. And after you're proactive with the media, you have to have all that information dispersed so that, hey, here on Politics Done Right, you send us the video that of what you did and what's going to happen, and we will make sure and disperse it through our blogosphere. And you give it to the several hundred bloggers throughout the country to show these things. You know who does that? Republicans. You know why? Even though they have bad bills and bad information, their people stay completely in complete oblivious to what's going on. You know why? Because they're saturated with their own media. They invest in their media to put this information out. You know, I've contacted Democratic, not commissioners, but I've contacted Democratic leaders. I've contacted all kinds of folks saying, what are you doing? And you know what? For all practical purposes, guess what you get? Oh, okay, that's a good idea, a good shoe off. And you get a shoe off. What I tell all the people that are listening here, all our progressives that are listening here, it's all up to you now. You have to get the job done. Because Jeffries, later on, I'm going to play a piece from Hakeem Jeffries. Hakeem Jeffries, as far as fighting this battle, useless. As far as the Senator Chuck Schumer, useless. They don't know how to fight. They don't know how to get the message out to the working class, to the middle class. So they out there and they give one short speech and then it's over for them. They $10,000 to the consultant. Progressives, bloggers, writers, we have a job to do. And for all of you out there who understand what's going on, please make sure to support entities like ours. Make sure and invest in what we are doing, because you know who's not doing it? Do you see the head of do you see Jeffries out there? Jeff, if I were leading the Democrats right now, I would go ahead and I would have I would divide every state into sectors. And all these sectors would have whatever is going to be marginalized by that bill in these sectors. And I'll have a particular leader in every single one of these sectors. Create narratives, create media, and they would be doing it every single day to make every American understand what that several $trillion bill is going to do. Because you know what? It is a dereliction of duty that we have indivisible doing their work. We have a lot of these organizations going out and protesting in front of offices of these different Congress people. But the one thing missing is the part that needs funded. Both the communications, like what we do here, and you know what else need funded? Getting the buses out that's going to take people into these rural areas, and with the Congress people pointing out exactly what those Republican Congress people are doing to them. We don't do it here in Texas. We don't do it around the country. And it is imperative that if we are to win, we point this out. Solar panels, deprived. Healthcare, deprived. Your humanity, killed. We have to do a better job, and we can't wait till the bill is rewritten and almost passed. We have to make it that they can't rewrite the bill. They can't rewrite the bill and put it up for a vote, because Americans would already have known what it is going to do to their own personal economies. That is what we have to do. And until we get smart, that bill is going to pass, it's going to go through, and it's going to be hard as hell to recover the damage that it's going to do. It's on us. We have to invest in, and again, like I said, forget about the party. Do it for ourselves. We have to make sure, first of all, and start educating the American people so that they can stop the Republicans from doing what they're doing. And number two, in the primaries, we are going to have to primary a lot of these people out of office, because for all practical purposes, many of them are useless. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is doing her job. Casar is doing his job out of Texas. Maxwell is doing his job out of Florida. Ayanna Press is doing her job out of, I think, Massachusetts. But most of these guys just have their tails within their legs. Murphy is doing a good job, Senator Murphy. But folks, we need a hell of a lot more than that.
We spend a lot of time deconstructing the news, trying to parse it into a form that everybody can understand. We try to find those little nitpicks where it flies above the fray, etc. If you really like these videos that we do, I want to ask a big favor. Please go ahead. Number one, subscribe to our channel. And number two, please join if you can. Thank you so kindly for watching. Keep watching. Please remember to share. We must populate the entire internet with our progressive message, a message that we know is what most Americans say that they want. So help us, please join.